Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Can we tell that I am just like lazy and I just don't really ever want to do my hair and I'm just living my best life in this beachy, messy hair vibe? Because that's where I'm at in my life, where I'm just like, this is the most effort I'm putting into my hair because I hate doing my hair. If I could, I would literally pay somebody every single week to come to my house to blow out my hair, and there you have it. But I don't live in that world yet. But yeah, so I'm just living this best life in this messy hair. So here we are, no shame, whatever. So anyways, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to do something for like beginners. For lately, I've just been wanting to do like more like in-depth like tutorials and really just kind of like guide beginners or even people that know what they're doing. I just love sharing like my tips and tricks for makeup. Like I love makeup so much and I'm so passionate about it that I love giving people advice. That's obviously why like I have a YouTube channel, but I love going into such detail and sharing what works for me and what really works for me, because when something really works, I get so excited and I really want to share it with everybody. So that's what today's video is going to be. It's going to be tips and tricks for beginners in eyeshadow, because eyeshadow, in my opinion, is one of the hardest things. Anything with your eyes, I feel like is always going to be more challenging. With the skin and the face, it's always a little bit more easier because you have like a bigger palette, if you will. But like your eyes, I feel like it's always so complicated and whatnot, so I really wanted to go in depth and like teach you guys and show you guys my tips and tricks. If you guys are interested, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's jump into this video. Tip number one, I always, for the most part, like 90% of the time, do my eyes first. I like doing my eyes first because if you don't like where you're at with your eye makeup, you can always take it off. It's a little bit more complicated if you already have all your face makeup on and then you go in with your eyes. Like there are times where I do that. But if you're a beginner, I do not recommend that. Definitely just start with a blank canvas. It's what I recommend all the time. And step number two, you're going to need a good base. So up until a few months ago, I never really believed in like eyeshadow primer. I was like, oh, it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick. Trust me, it's not a gimmick. If you are having patchiness and stuff not blending and no pigmentation, you're going to need something like this. This is my favorite one. This is from Juvia's Place. A lot of people say it's a dupe for the P. Louise one. I've never tried the P. Louise one, so I can't really compare, but a lot of people say it's like a dupe, but I like this one because it's literally available at Ulta. It's $12 and it is the best thing to ever exist. I believe they have 3 shades. I have mine in the shade 1. It doesn't really matter what shade you pick up. For the most part, you're going to be covering it with eyeshadow anyway, so I always shake it before I use it. I'm going to take about that much. I'm just going to put it on my eye. And I always use some type of brush like this to blend it out. Okay, so once you have the base totally blended out, you're going to want to let it dry for like 5 minutes. You're not going to want to set it with powder. You're just going to want to leave it, because if you go in with eyeshadow right now and try to start blending, since it's still wet, the eyeshadow is just going to stick to one spot and you're not going to be able to blend. So you definitely want to give this about 3 to 5 minutes to fully dry and then go in with your eyeshadow. Okay, so it's been about like 3 to 5 minutes, so it's pretty dry right now. It's still like a little tacky, but we'll be able to work with it. So for the palette today, I'm going to use this one from Morphe. It's the 35D, the Desert Bouquet palette. If you're a beginner in eyeshadow, I always recommend starting with something inexpensive from the drugstore, and honestly a lot of my favorite makeup is from the drugstore, so don't feel like you need to go to Sephora and buy like Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath, because you definitely don't have to. You can find some really good quality eyeshadows at the drugstore, so don't feel like the pressure and go do all that, because especially if you're a beginner, you're going to want something where you have variety. So this one I picked because I love that it has a lot of color in here, so if you're like new to eyeshadow and stuff, you want to play around with color, this is perfect. But it also has a lot of like neutral shades, which is perfect as well. For a beginner, I always recommend doing neutral shades. I still to this day am like a neutral girl. I'm always doing like neutral eyeshadow looks. I just love them so much. They're so natural and just so easy. So that's why I picked this one, because it's like a little bit of both. You got your colors, you got your warm tones, you got all that stuff. So I'm really excited to use this palette for you guys today. Okay, so you're gonna start with your crease first. I also recommend getting good brushes. I really am a fan of Morphe brushes. They're pretty much the only ones that I have for my face and for my eyes. They're so affordable and they're so good and they last for years. I've literally had, have had all these brushes for like 4 years, 5 years. Like I've had them for a really, really long time, so I stand by them for sure. I'm gonna go in with the Morphe M518 brush. It's just like a little blending brush, and you kind of want to start with like a lighter color in the crease and then work your way up to like deeper. So I'm gonna go in, let me see, with this shade right here. This is the shade Terrenium, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm just gonna swirl my brush around and just always dab off the excess. You don't want to go in with too much shadow, and then just start right in your crease. You're just going to go back and forth, and you're going to build the color up as intense or as not intense as you want it. And hold your brush at like the end. Don't hold it right here because then you're going to get too precise. This way it gives you a lot more flexibility to work with the shadow. So you see how just smooth and blended that is? This brush is key. This is my favorite crease brush to go in with initially. It's literally been my favorite for probably like 6-7 years. It's so good. Okay, so now I want to deepen up the outer portion of my eye and then bring that into my crease. So I'm going to use more of like a precise brush. Something that looks like this. This is a really old brush from Kylie Cosmetics, but I really, really like this brush. So I'm going to take this shade. I'm still deciding what shade I want to use. I think I'm going to go in with Joshua Tree, which is like this really dark brown right here. That's really dark. So it's going to tap off a lot of the excess. And then just slowly, you want to just work this color up really slowly. You don't want to go in with too much because then you can't really go from there. So I'm just going to tap just like this. At first, you see how it gave a little bit of dimension. And then I'm going back and forth like this. And then I'm slowly going to start to bring that shadow into my crease. You see what I'm doing? You see how it's adding just slight dimension without like overdoing it? I love that. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit more because now we have that base down. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just start here and then work my way up and then work my way into blending. A handheld mirror, by the way, is going to be your best friend. Like, you don't understand, like looking from afar you really can't see, but when you look up close you can really see if everything is blended. So you definitely want some sort of handheld mirror to be able to look in, whether it's the mirror that's in the eyeshadow palette or something like this, just something that you can look really close in and just really clean everything up. So now that we have those two shades on our lids, I'm going to go back in with that first blending brush and that same first shade that we used, and just use a little bit of it and really dab off a lot of the excess and just go over everything. This is just really going to help blend everything together, get rid of any harsh lines that are there, and it's just going to make it look a lot more seamless. So now to fill in that blank space that we have going on right here, I want a nice pop of shimmer. So I'm going to go in with the shade Sand Dunes. It's the second shade in the palette, and your fingers are your best friends. You can 1000% use a brush. I still use brushes, of course, but I love applying a shimmer eyeshadow with my fingers. There's just nothing like it. So I'm going to take it. Do you guys see how beautiful that is? And I'm just going to apply it to my lid. I'm gonna go ahead and use a brush just to get more precise in my inner corner. And just really fill in that gap. Do you guys see? Oh, this is so pretty, this color. I'm in love. This, by the way, is a MAC 242 brush. This is the best brush. I've had this brush for years, and it's one of the only ones that I still use for my lid. It just applies every single shimmer perfectly, and it's just the right shape. It's literally everything you need in a lid brush. Is that what this would be called? A lid brush? I think, right? So now that we have that lid shade on, obviously we're not just gonna leave it like this. We still have to blend. With eyeshadow, it is crucial that you are always blending. It's tedious, but it's going to look the best in the end. So I'm gonna take that same first brush. I'm not gonna go in with any more product. I'm just gonna go in and just blend everything together. So that same brush with no additional shadow, just really blending everything together. Sometimes when you look at your eyeshadow, you think, okay, like perfect, we're done, it's blended. My number one tip, besides putting down a good base, is to take your camera, okay, like your phone, and take a selfie and just look down. What this will do is it'll show you where it's not blended. So I'll show you, like, see right there, it looks a little harsh. So you're gonna wanna bring that shimmer a little higher, and I'll show you guys what I mean. But you guys, I literally have like 100 selfies on my phone of me doing that just to see if my shadow is blended or not. Because you're only looking this way, right? Like when you're doing your makeup, but during the day, you're gonna be looking down, and you don't wanna have harsh lines, and you don't want stuff to not be blended. So I'm just gonna go in with that shimmer shade and just bring it a little higher. I want to take that same Kylie brush that we were using and just work it on the outer corner just a wee bit. As you can see, it literally only took me 3 brushes to create this look, and that's really all you need. I have 100 blending brushes because for different looks, sometimes you want to be a little bit more precise, sometimes you don't. So, but in all honesty, you really don't need that many brushes. You just need a few good ones, and that's really it. I'm going to actually take a little bit more of Joshua Tree. Sorry, I keep leaning back. It's just I have no space in front of me, so my dresser becomes like my second table. So I just took a little bit more of Joshua Tree, and now what I'm going to do is I'll come closer for you guys. I'm going to just press it just like that, just to put the placement, and then slowly blend up. So from all the blending, that initial application that we put of the Joshua Tree did blend away. So what I'm doing is, sorry, I didn't mean to like block my face. What I'm doing is I'm just reapplying it and just making it so that it's more precise. As you can see, this eye versus this eye, it is a little bit more deeper here, which is what you want. Okay, so we are going to go back in with that same brush again. And actually, I'm gonna take more of like a brown shade. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's called Rock On. I'm gonna take that same first brush and I'm just gonna coat this, and I'm really gonna tap off a lot of the excess and just slightly just go over everything. So to really clean everything up, what I'm gonna do is I'm really gonna be risky with this one. I'm gonna take this shade right here called Light Linen. It's the first shade in the palette. And I'm just gonna take that same MAC brush, and I'm just going to use this. Oh, this is really pigmented. I shouldn't have used that color. Don't do what I did, but I'm gonna use this color and just highlight my brow bone with it. I went a little too far down on the other eye, but that's fine. Because I'm gonna take my blending brush and just blend upwards, and it'll be like nothing ever happens. There's one thing I'm preaching about to literally everybody. It is micellar water. When it comes to your makeup, micellar water is literally like king of everything. So I'm gonna take a Q-tip and some Bioderma. I use this one right here. I have it linked down below. It's part of my Amazon favorites. And I'll just go right underneath my eye to clean up any fallout. Let me get my handy dandy mirror. Remember that from Blue's Clues, handy dandy notebook? Is that what it was? No, handy dandy notebook. I think that's what it was. Was it Blue's Clues? I'm pretty sure it was Blue's Clues. Anyways, so then I'm just going to take it and then just clean anything up. Because sometimes when you're blending your shadow, it can come like a little too far out and it can look a little just like placed there. You just want to clean it up. Okay, so for the last step in my eyeshadow routine, I like to take a clean brush with literally nothing on it. As you can see, this is a super clean brush, and I'm just gonna go over all of the shadow, and this is just going to blend everything together as well as just soften it up a bit. So if it's looking a little heavy to you, always take a clean blending brush and just go right back over everything, and it will just really soften up the whole look. I love the end result of eyeshadow. I just hate the whole process of it. It's like legit one of my least favorite things to do in makeup. That's why if you notice in a lot of my videos, I'm really just wearing eyeliner. That's because eyeshadow, as much as I love it, it is very, very time consuming, especially if you're a perfectionist like me. Like I love everything to just look perfect and blended, and I just take so much time on my eyeshadow. So that's just one thing with it. You're going to have to dedicate the time and the effort and the patience, and it's a learning curve. Like I'm still learning to this day different tips and tricks on how to like perfect my eyeshadow. By the way, I'm looking at it right now. I need to add a little bit more of sand dunes because it's looking a little patchy right here. But yeah, I'm still learning to this day different tips and tricks. My next mission that I want to accomplish with eyeshadow is a cut crease. Bitch, that is one thing that I'm literally dying to do. So that's like next on the agenda, is to learn how to do a cut crease. So now what I'm going to do quickly off camera is I'm going to go ahead and just do my wing and then do my face, and then I'll be back to show you guys how I do my lower lash. So hang tight. So I just went ahead and did the rest of my like face makeup off camera, and as you can see, we have a blank lower lash line, but I'm loving, as I was doing my makeup, I was just looking at the eyeshadow and I was like, I'm really appreciating how it looks right now. I just think it looks so good, and my wing came out really good. This eye is a little bit thicker because we were having some technical difficulties, but it's totally fine. Okay, so now we're going to work on the lower lash. So my friend Santos always makes fun of me because he's like, you don't go crazy with your lower lash. Like you're super simple and like that's it. But like that's like who I am, because I am still getting comfortable with my lower lash line. I'm very insecure when it comes to my under eyes, and I like to just keep it looking bright. Like I would leave it like this. Like I love like a blank lower lash line. I think it just looks so simple and sleek. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to do a lower lash line, okay? And I'm going to try to do it a little bit out of my comfort zone for Santos and for all of you guys watching. So first things first, I like to go in with a white eyeliner. So if I'm ever going to do a lower lash line, I'm always trying to keep it looking like bright. So I'm going to take my NYX Faux White eyeliner in the shade Vanilla, and I am just going to put it in my waterline. As you can see, it just brightened up this eye, so I'm going to do the same thing to my other eye. I always feel like whenever I just have white eyeliner on, like I look like such an alien. It like freaks me out. Okay, so back into the palette. So when it comes to your lower lash line, you really just want to like mimic what you did up here. Like I did brown, so I'm not going to do a purple lower lash line or like a pink lower lash line. You totally could do that and it would give it like really nice contrast. But for today's video, I'm going to just do pretty much what I did on top on the bottom. So let me see what brush I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm actually going to start out with, where is that little brush? With this little brush right here. Can you guys see? It's from Jacqueline and Morphe. It's the JH42. I love this little guy for my lower lash. And I'm just going to go in with that same shade that we first used, Terranium, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. Always dab off the excess. I have to dab it off because if I don't, when I go underneath my lower lash line with it, it is going to get all in my eye and it's just really going to irritate my eye. So I have to make sure that I'm dabbing off as much as I can. And then very, very closely to this lower lash, I'm just going to apply it. My lashes are always getting in the freaking way. It's so annoying. All right. So same thing to the other side. As you can see, I didn't apply too much of that color because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the shade Joshua Tree, which is that brown, like that deeper brown shade that we use. And do the same thing. So as you can see, it just gave some nice dimension, but obviously you don't just want to leave a harsh line under there. So I'm going to take a pencil brush and I'm going to go back in with Joshua Tree, and I'm just going to look up and go back and forth and just blend out that color. So as you can see the difference, this eye is looking much more blended. So we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. This is one of my favorite blending brushes ever. It's so like, it's just the perfect shape. I love just putting it against my face so you guys can see, but it's just literally like the perfect shape for getting right underneath there. And it's not too densely packed where it's gonna like skip underneath your like lower lash. It's really just gonna get right under there and blend everything out. So what I want to do now is I want to go in with the shade Rock On, which is that like last shade that we use to really just blend everything together, and kind of use it to do the same thing underneath, because with your lower lash line you want it to go dark to light. So here you want it to go light to dark, underneath you want it to go dark to light. That's just how it's going to look the most blended. So I'm going to dab off the excess and look up and just do the exact same thing. Do you guys see just how nice and blended it is? It just looks so good. So now we still kind of look like somewhat of an alien. So the finishing touch with any type of eye look like this, especially when it's this dramatic, is going to be mascara. This is the L'Oreal Air Volume Mega Mascara. Just the best mascara to literally ever exist. I'm just going to take it and coat my lashes. This is pretty much it for the eyes. So I'm going to actually go and film a TikTok really quick because I'm testing out Makeup by Mario's new lipsticks and I'm so freaking excited. So I'm going to go do that really quickly and then I will come back and you guys will see the finished look. So hang tight. So I just quickly want to say that Makeup by Mario, literally everything that I try from him, he freaking kills it. And I'm wearing one of his lipsticks right now in the shade Erin and it's totally up my alley. Oh my god. And the formula is literally like perfection, like absolute perfection. But anyways, this is the completed look. I'm so happy with how it came out. Like I really love how the shadow looks on the top and on the bottom. I'm just really loving it right now. So I'm really happy that I did this like little beginners tutorial for you guys. Let me know down below if you want to see like more like beginners type things, and if you want me to go more in depth with certain things, let me know down below. Leave me all of your recommendations down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. There's a hair sticking up on top of my head. Oh my god, I hate my hair. It's literally like so dirty right now and I just opted out of completely cleaning it or washing it today because I was like, no, I have no patience for my hair. So it's just looking, this hair goes over here. Like, what are you doing, sir? Okay. Anyways, all right. So leave me all of your recommendations down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up and to subscribe. And I will hopefully catch you guys in my next video.